Yes, you've perfectly summarized the core reason for the infamy of S Route 66666. It's a fascinating case study in how symbolism, superstition, and public perception can shape the identity of a place. Your summary hits all the key points. Direct link to the number of the beast. The association with Revelation 13:18 was immediate and powerful, creating a built-in narrative of evil and danger. Public discomfort and stigma. This wasn't just a minor superstition. It caused genuine unease for many travelers and residents. Official renumbering as a solution. The change to U.S. Route 491 in 2003 was a direct and pragmatic response to these pressures. To build on your excellent summary, the sinister reputation was often reinforced by the road's inherent dangers. It was a remote, winding highway with a high accident rate. This combination of a frightening number and very real peril created a fertile ground for urban legends to flourish, including stories of phantom vehicles and ghostly hitchhikers, demonic creatures sighted along the roadside, unexplained mechanical failures blamed on a curse. The renaming was ultimately a practical success. It reduced the costly theft of Route 66 road signs and helped shed the negative stigma, allowing the highway to be known for its scenic, if still remote, journey rather than its infamous number. Yes, your excellent choice of topic, the haunted highway, perfectly captures a classic American legend that blends supernatural folklore with the very real anxieties of the open road. Let's delve deeper into the story of the highway once infamously known as Route 666. The legend of this road, often called the Devil's Highway, is a powerful mix of its ominous number, its remote and dangerous terrain, and a wealth of reported paranormal encounters. It's a fascinating case study in how a name, combined with a challenging environment, can create a modern myth that takes on a life of its own. Your summary hits all the key points. Direct link to the number of the beast. The association with Revelation 13:18 was immediate and powerful, creating a built-in narrative of evil and danger. Public discomfort and stigma. This wasn't just a minor superstition. It caused genuine unease for many travelers and residents. Official renumbering as a solution. The change to Bastard U.S. Route 491 in 2003 was a direct and pragmatic response to these pressures. To build on your excellent summary, the sinister reputation was often reinforced by the road's inherent dangers. It was a remote, winding highway with a high accident rate. This combination of a frightening number and very real peril created a fertile ground for urban legends to flourish, including stories of phantom vehicles and ghostly hitchhikers, demonic creatures sighted along the roadside, unexplained mechanical failures blamed on a curse. The story of the Devil's Highway begins not with a ghostly sighting, but with a simple number. The moniker didn't come from nowhere. It was a perfect storm of factors that brewed a legend. The root of its infamy is its original designation, U.S. Route 666. In the Christian New Testament's book of Revelation, the number 666 is explicitly identified as the number of the beast, a symbol deeply associated with the devil or an antichrist. This biblical connection immediately cast a sinister and unavoidable shadow over the road, priming the public imagination for dark tales. It wasn't just a road. For many, it was a path marked by evil. This ominous name was paired with a genuinely treacherous path. The road itself was notoriously dangerous, winding through the remote, mountainous, and often desolate regions of Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona. It was characterized by narrow lanes, sharp, unbanked curves, and steep grades that could challenge even the most experienced drivers. Consequently, it was the scene of numerous fatal accidents over the decades. The high mortality rate on the highway led many to whisper that the road itself was cursed, that its very asphalt was malevolent and hungry for more victims. The statistical danger fueled the supernatural fear. Adding to its notoriety, the road became a target for a peculiar form of vandalism. Its iconic Route 666 signs were constantly stolen by souvenir hunters, thrill seekers, and those who simply wanted a piece of its dark fame. This constant theft forced state transportation departments into costly and frequent replacements, sometimes resorting to painting the number directly onto the asphalt to thwart the thieves. This persistent act of rebellion and souvenir hunting further cemented the road's reputation as an unlucky and rebellious route, a place where normal rules didn't seem to apply. The legends that grew around the highway are as diverse as they are chilling, playing on the deep-seated fear of being utterly alone, vulnerable, and far from help. Travelers have reported a catalog of terrors over the years. The most common and enduring tale is that of the phantom hitchhiker. In this classic trope of roadside horror, drivers speeding through the desolate landscape report seeing a lone figure thumbing for a ride on the empty shoulder. This figure is often described as a man in simple denim work clothes or a woman dressed in dated attire. Those who stop to offer a ride find their passenger strangely silent or giving only vague, cryptic directions. Then, moments later, they glance over or into the rearview mirror to find the passenger has mysteriously vanished from the moving vehicle, leaving behind nothing but a cold spot and a racing heart. Some reports, however, venture far beyond the realm of human ghosts into something more primal and terrifying. Drivers have shared harrowing stories of seeing large bestial creatures with glowing red eyes running alongside their cars, keeping pace with them at high speeds before disappearing back into the impenetrable darkness. Others have reported slamming on their brakes for shadowy humanoid figures that stand ominously in the middle of the road, only to vanish as the headlights hit them. These encounters speak to a fear of monstrous, unknown entities lurking just beyond the civilized strip of pavement. During the height of the satanic panic in the 1980s and 90s, the road's dark reputation was amplified and twisted by new rumors. It became known as a supposed conduit for cult activity. Local whispers and sensationalized reports suggested that the unexplained disappearances of pets and livestock in the areas bordering the highway were not accidental, but were linked to clandestine satanic rituals performed in the remote canyons and forests that the highway accessed. This connection, though never substantiated, added a layer of human-driven evil to the road's supernatural mythos. Perhaps the most pervasive and psychologically terrifying report is that of unexplained mechanical failure. Countless travelers have recounted how their vehicles, perfectly functional just moments before, would suddenly and completely die on a lonely stretch of the road, often at the darkest hour of night. Radios would fill with static, engines would refuse to turn over, and headlights would dim to a useless glow, plunging the driver into near-total darkness. Stranded and helpless, they would wait in terror. Then, just as mysteriously, once the unseen presence seemed to pass, or the first light of dawn broke the horizon, the vehicles would start up and function normally again, as if nothing had ever been wrong. By the turn of the millennium, the legend had grown so powerful, and the practical issues like constant sign theft had become so burdensome that official action was finally taken to exorcise the highway's demons. The solution was simple and bureaucratic: a name change. On June 15, 2003, the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials officially decommissioned the 666 designation. The highway was formally renumbered and is now known as U.S. Route 491. But did this administrative cure actually work? The renaming was certainly a success from a practical and public relations standpoint. Sign theft plummeted, and the official stigma was lifted. For some, the renumbering felt like it had lifted the curse, cleansing the road of its dark past. For others, however, the story simply transferred to the memory of the road that used to be 666. The paranormal reports have certainly lessened in frequency, but they have not disappeared entirely. This proves that a powerful story, once told and deeply embedded in the culture, is incredibly hard to kill. The ghost of Route 66 still lingers on the asphalt of US 491. Ultimately, the enduring power of the Devil's Highway legend lies in its brilliant exploitation of universal and primal human fears. First and foremost is the fear of isolation. The road traverses vast, empty landscapes where help is miles, sometimes hours, away. A breakdown, an accident, or a strange encounter in such a place is not an inconvenience. It is a genuine survival situation, amplifying any sense of dread. It also taps into our fear of the unknown, particularly the fear of the dark. Darkness limits our most trusted sense, our perception. A strange shape in the distance, a flicker of light on the horizon, or an unexplained noise from the brush is instantly magnified when you're the only person on a deserted road miles from the nearest town. The mind, desperate to make sense of the sensory deprivation, can easily turn a deer into a demon. Finally, the legend thrives on the immense power of suggestion, simply knowing. The road's infamous reputation primes travelers to be on high alert. Knowing you are on the Devil's Highway makes you interpret any minor oddity, a strange-looking animal, a trick of the light, a flicker in your headlights, as a potential supernatural event. The expectation of fear creates the experience of fear. The renaming was ultimately a practical success. It reduced the costly theft of Route 666 road signs and helped shed the negative stigma, allowing the highway to be known for its scenic, if still remote, journey rather than its infamous number. In the end, the story of Route 66 is a quintessential American ghost story. It's a perfect tale where a simple road sign, a series of dangerous curves, and the deep, lonely dark of the American West combine to create a modern legend that continues to haunt the imagination of travelers and storytellers alike.